Hello everyone. In this lecture, we will be learning about some of the special functions in Python. These are widely used functions, and in due course, we'll be using each of them. So first, we'll be learning about filter functions, next map, third reduce, and fourth zip functions. So let us understand each of them one by one. So first is filter function. It basically filters function out of a sequence. That is, it returns the filtered list. It's mostly used by a lambda function. The syntax is very simple. Filter function, comma, iterable. That is the list or whatever the data structure that you want to pass. Right? So let's understand how does it work. So what I've done is, let's say our target problem is we need to get the list of numbers which are divisible by 15 from the given list. Right? So there is 45, 55, 60, 37 and so on. And we need to only filter out all the numbers that are divisible by 15. So let's understand. Let us get all the numbers manually, right? 45, we know it is divisible. 55, it is not divisible, we know that. 60, yes, it is divisible. 37 is not. 900 is again not. 105 is divisible, right? 105 is divisible. 220 is not divisible. So what we find over here is, out of all these numbers, these are the three numbers which are divisible. Right? This we have computed manually. What if the list was very long? What should we have done there? So simply we should have used the filter function. So what I've done over here is I've taken a lambda function a equals to lambda x such that x percentage 15, what is percentage? Modulus. This is a modulus function. What does it do? If you remember, it gives us the remainder. What I'm essentially telling over here is, please return, what a would do is, it would return x if x is divided by 15 and gives no remainder. Right? So if x is divided by 15 and it gives us no remainder, then it should return me that x. So return only those x's that are divisible by 15 in short. And now I'm creating the filter function. So I'm creating a list called result equals to list of filter. I'm using this particular term, filter. Inside the parenthesis, function, the name of the function here will be a, comma, numList. NumList is the iterable over here. That is the list from which the filter is done. The filtering is done, right? And now I'm printing result. And I'm getting 45, 60 and 105. Quite simple. Filter a, that is the name of the function, and the name of the list from which the filtering has to be done. That's all about filter function. Very easy and efficient to use. Right. Now we move to the map function. What does this do? So the map function, it is used similar to okay, we'll learn through this particular example the usage. So the syntax for map is very similar to that of filter. We use the keyword map followed by the name of the function and then iterable. So instead of filter, we use map over here. Again, we get a map. So what is our problem statement over here? Get the squares of each number from the list. So there is this list and I need to get all the squares of this number list. I cannot use filter over here. Filter would only filter some of the numbers. So I need to use map. So this is our list and I've taken a lambda function where it does the square, right? Now what I'm doing, I'm taking the same variable result is equal to list map of a comma num list. So a would do the square. It would actually map a, that is map this function to the entire list. And therefore the result we will get is 4, 9, 16 and so on. I hope you get it. Map, what is it is doing? It is mapping this particular function to the iterable. And here it is the num list that is containing all these numbers. And therefore we are getting the output to be as 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49. Right? All right. Now comes the reduce function. It basically applies a rolling computation to the sequential pairs. That is, if we take a range of number, right? Let's say from 1 to 5. The numbers that are included here is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 4, right? Not 5. So what do we get over here? We get a rolling computation of sequential pairs. It is rolled over to this is rolled over to this, and this is rolled over to this. We can do any kind of operations. So what I've done is I've taken the addition operation, right? So a here would actually add the two numbers. When I say rolling, it means it is taking into account these two numbers. And it would give me the sum, since I'm using addition, 3. Then it would actually roll over to this. So 3 plus 3 would give me, right, 9, 6, I'm sorry, it would give me 6. And then it would do its rolling operation to 4, which would eventually give me a 10, right? All right. Now, one more important thing here, to use the reduce function, we have to import it. So we will be learning about it. Let us forget about this line as of now. So what we do over here is result equals to reduce. Use the same thing, reduce instead of map or filter, a, that is the function name, followed by the iterable. Iterable here is range from 1 to 10. That is, it takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. It excludes 10. So what is the sum from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 9? Just do your addition, it would be 45. And it works in this rolling fashion that I have already explained. So when I print the result, I'm getting 45 as the output, right? Now, to use the reduce function, one important thing that we need to do over here is we need to import the reduce function. How do we do that? We need to import it from functools, a library called functools. So we write from functools import reduce, and then we can easily use this reduce function. All right. Now coming to one of the most important functions, zip and unzip. What does it do? So we would be understanding the zip function much more in depth, the usage, when we come to use the data science libraries like NumPy, right? So as of now, just understand what it does. It has a huge power. So the zip function returns a zip object, which is an iterator of tuples. What does it mean? Let's say we pass two lists, right? Let's say we pass two lists. Let it contain A and B, the first list. Let me call it as L1, right? L1 is equal to A and B. Let me take another list called L2, which contains 1 and 2. Obviously, these are numericals and these are, strings. Doesn't really matter. We can take two strings or two integers or whatever it is. I'm just taking this as an example. And if I zip, right, zip L1 and L2. Let's say A, right, A equals to zip L1 and L2. Do you know what the output we will be getting? So the output that we will get is A1, comma, V2. and this would be inside lists. I'm sorry, this would be inside tuples. So we'll be getting a list of tuples. We'll be getting a list of tuples, wherein in each tuple, we'll get the first element from the first list and the second element, and the first element from the second list. So on and so forth. So this is the power of zip. You cannot use necessarily a loop or something to do this particular operation. You need to use this zip operation. If you think a loop would suffice, do try, and you are free to use it, but it is not possible. You would soon understand all the problems related to it. So zip is the function that we use to take the first element from both the list and pack it inside tuples. Okay. So that's what I have explained over here. What does unzip does? Unzip does the exact opposite thing. It unzips the master list containing tuples and creates two lists containing, it just reverses the zip process. That's what it does. So yeah, the basic syntax is zip of list1, list2, and for unzip, it would be zip, and we put this star mark over here and give the name of the super list so that we get the zip function. So what we have done over here is I've taken names Rohan, Amita, Sushant, Pawan, and Kiran, and I've taken the marks to be 67, 34, 78, 85, and 65. That is their respective marks. Now what if I want to pair them up, that Rohan has got 67, Amita has got 34, and so on? We will be using the zipped function for that. So zip of names, marks, and that is taken inside the zipped variable, and zipped list is converting them to a list. When I'm printing list, when I'm printing zipped list, I'm getting the output as Rohan 67, Amita 34, Sushant 78, Pawan 85, and Kiran is getting 65. That's what we have got. Now this was the zipped list, right? When I'm unzipping it, I need to give two lists because there are two lists that were zipped. So I'm giving them names and marks, and I'm writing the syntax zip star zip list. And I'm also converting names and marks into lists. So names list equals to list of names, and marks list is equal to list of marks. And now when I'm printing them, I'm getting two lists one containing names and one containing their marks. So that is exactly how zip and unzip function works. So I hope all the four functions, that is filter, map, reduce, and zip, were very, very clear to you. If this is very, very clear, we will now move on to the list comprehensions. Not only lists, we will be moving to the comprehension functions. We'll see different ways of comprehending. All right. So that was it for this lecture. Hope to see you in the next.